What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? This is JC, and welcome to the Wealth Engineering Podcast. So, you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. We're going to talk about finding your passion and turn that into a business. But if you're new here, you're watching it on replay. My name is JC. I'm the host of Wealth Engineering, and I create content to motivate you to increase your net worth, retire early, and build generational wealth. And we do that with stocks, real estate, business, and cryptocurrencies, guys. These days, I'm very deep in cryptocurrencies. So if you're new here or you're just coming in, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and click the bell. Let's do that journey to financial independence together. And that's why you're here. That's the wealth engineering community. That's why we strive for, so that we can all help each other. We just like the Asian people say, I'm Asian, and we say strength in numbers, l'union fait la force. So yes, that's the vision I have for wealth engineering. I want you guys to work together so that we can share information and strive to the goals as fast as possible. Right? If we're a community that helping each other, we can get to these goals faster. But before we get to the topic, let me give a couple of shout outs very quick. Shout out to you, sir, Aaron B. I hope you're still here. Make sure you tune in next week. I'm probably going to make a podcast, like a 1K celebration. So I want you there. Definitely, Aaron. Make sure you tune in. Shout out to you for always being here, always supporting. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. But I know Aaron always does. And let's go from there. Shout out to you, Mr. Peter Investor M. I said your name right this time. Salute to you, sir. Thank you for being here and basically supporting the channel, right? Hello, 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 lovely. Hello, J Bones. Thank you for being here, sir. With the money bags, the money bags. Today we're going to talk about the money bags, of course, but more the passion that can fuel the drive to target this money bag, right? We're going to talk about that, and we'll try to see if we can help as many people as possible. It's also a calling show. It's also a calling show. So if any of you want to call in, talk about passion, purpose, how do we monetize that? Because there's a lot of influencers out there. They they always say, "Hey, I'm doing what I'm passionate about," but they're not making money. They're not making money out of their passion. So how do we do that? Shout out to you, the intentional millionaire. Shout out to you for being here and supporting. Thank you very much. I still have to catch up on your videos. The most recent video, I haven't finished watching it yet. I started watching it earlier at work today, but I gotta finish with that later tonight. But thank you, and again, love your content, sir. Love your content, and we also made if you guys knew, we also made a podcast together between the intentional millionaire and I. So make sure you check it out. Assets versus liability. So make sure you turn it out. Um, and yes, man, yes, guys, let's get into the topic. Thank you for being here. I know it's Friday night. Not many of you could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me, so I truly appreciate that. So, guys, again, as I said, today is going to be a call-in show. So, um, I'm going to talk like basically what I think, like how you can monetize your passion to your purpose. But in the meantime, I'm also going to leave the link at some point in the chat, and then you guys can tune in if you want to call in. That would be great. You can maybe share your passion, share some ideas that you have had in terms of monetizing it, and then we'll go from there. I think it will be a great discussion. All right. So with that said, let's get on the topic. So what are we going to talk about? How to find your passion. All right. How can you monetize it? Different methods that you can think about, because I'm going to give you some creative ways. Even for the people that are lazy, they don't want to do any type of business, well, there is still some ways that you can monetize it, and we're going to talk about that today. And also, guys, also I definitely want to encourage YouTube. I know you may look at my subscribers, you may realize I'm not being monetized yet, and you might say, hey, why should I do all this work? Why should I do all this work if it's not to get monetized? But I'm going to share with you some. I don't know if I'm going to share you all my numbers, but I'm going to share you the power of YouTube. Even if you're not monetized, how can you leverage that and still make some money? Right? We're going to talk about that, and also we're going to find these creative ways that we can make some money. And again, for all of you who are here, I invite you to that 1K celebration next week. I'm predicting that by next week we should get there, and I'm getting ready. I'm preparing something for you guys, especially for my moderators. So I want you guys to be here. So I invite you all to be here. All right. So how do you find your passion? If you had to guess, guys, what would you say? If you had to guess on the chat, how do you find your passion? Is that something that is just you just know it? Is it like love? Is it when you're in love with someone, you don't know how, but you just know that you're in love? Is it the same as passion, or is that something that you actively looking for? Right? Is this something that you have to like search like a treasure, and then once you find it, you know you find it, right? Um, well, I'll basically depends. I would say some people are born and right when they're kids, you can see it. Right when they're kids, you can see their passions. I know, and I'm thinking I have a niece in mind. She was barely 6 months, guys. Barely 6 months, barely crawling, and she was dance. Whenever there was music, she would dance. First thing she did when she start was standing up was dancing. First thing she did when she was walking was also dancing. You know, at that point, it's like, okay, let's encourage her in dancing. And guess what? She loved it more and more and more, and was obsessed with dancing. She's been dancing since she was born till now, still dancing. So from that perspective, what would be her passion? Dancing, right? Some people are lucky like that. They're born with they just know what they want, right? As soon as they're in a situation where their passion is going to come out of them, it just happens. But for most people, right? Shout out to the great Kobe Bryant. He said very young that he was passionate about basketball, about basketball. But guess what? Would he have been passionate about basketball if his dad did not play basketball, right? So that's an important question to ask, and I don't think we'll ever know because we can't really ask him that. Hey, shout out to you, Wealth Engineering. Let's get Wealth Engineering to 1K. Well, thank you very much. But yeah, that's something that we can't really ask him anymore because rest in peace to his soul. But that would have been a great question to ask, and to ask what he thinks about that, right? Because sometimes some people they have a drive, right? They have a different drives. Some people they're born in a single motherhood, and then the lack of not having a father could trigger a passion in them. Some people can look at their their the dads, and then maybe they're trying to get their dad's approval, and that could also trigger a passion in them. I know me, for example, my dad used to love buying a car. He wasn't a car guy. He wasn't a car guy. But what he did love, he was a stylish guy, right? He loved having suits, and it's so funny because my dad didn't really like a lot of cars, but he loved Mercedes, right? Me, I'm a car guy, but all the car that I want to have is all Mercedes, right? I want to do this thing where I put my last name on a Mercedes, and it's like Mercedes. My last name is Mercedes. But yeah, that's that, and shout out, yeah, great point right here, J Bones. Great point. His father steered him. Great point. Exactly. That happened. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. And I'll give you an example with my life. My dad didn't do anything. He just lived his own life. But me, as I'm growing up, as I'm watching him, I realized this guy loved being stylish, but I don't really care about clothes. Like as you can see, as long as like he keeps me warm, that's all I care about. But I do care about cars. I love cars. So and he loved his Mercedes. Like he would clean his own Mercedes. Like we had in Haiti, we had someone to wash our own cars for us. We're lucky to have that person, so that my parents didn't have to do it all the time. But my dad, that the only time I saw him wash a car was his own Mercedes. So right, and that's probably like what, maybe twice in my whole life that I saw him wash a car, and the both time was a Mercedes. So that made me wonder, hey, why does he like Mercedes so much? And I started thinking too, and guess what? Now all I think about is Mercedes, right? My brother inherit the passion of his style, right? My brother loves clothing, loves suits, he loves all that, he lives for that. That's his passion. He can spend 10, 20K easy on clothing alone. He's passionate about it, and not just the clothing, but also how it's made, the different types of cloth, like the different how it's like how you sew it, the different countries that do it cheaper. Like that's what I mean. When you're passionate about something, you're almost obsessed at it. You almost obsess at it. And sometimes when you want a level of perfection, when you want to success, you need to be obsessed to a certain degree. And that's the main reason why you might wonder, why am I talking about passion in a wealth engineering podcast? Well, it's because finding your passion can definitely fuel, can definitely give you that obsession that you need to stick around when things are tough and move forward. Because if you push hard enough, if you focus hard enough, you will get there. But most people drops on the way, right? They don't actually, they start, it's hard, they stop. They don't go all the way. It's the same thing as a journey. It's like walking a desert going to the promised land, right? If you stop midway and you try to turn back, you actually might make it because you know what's behind you. You've made the road already, right? You don't know what's ahead of you. But if you stop in the middle of way and you try to turn back, you just spend half of your energy to be in the middle point and then another half energy to turn back. You end up going nowhere. And you knew about that, right? But if you keep moving, you don't know what you're going in your like in front of you, right? You don't know where you're going. You could find the treasure you're looking for. You could find the goal that you're looking for, or you may die on the desert. Could happen. That's the risk, but you gotta keep moving. And that's what I have. I have this shirt. I don't have it with me, but I like this shirt. It's "Get Wealthy or Cry Trying." Inspired by 50 Cent. Right? You don't want to die in terms of to get money, but you can try as hard as you want, and when it's hard, you keep trying. But if you're doing something that you're passionate about, it won't feel like it's hard. That's the difference. It'll feel like you're having fun. That's the difference. That's the difference between my niece, for example. She's dancing. When she goes in a contest, whether she wins or lose, it's fun to her, right? It's fun to her. So she's doing the work. She doesn't feel like it's work because she's having fun. Then she's going on a contest. Should she win a prize, she's moving ahead in the field. And should she lose, well, that's more motivation to be better and still having fun, right? It's a win win scenario. And it's the same thing if you focus that energy, you use that source of energy in your business. You might not even care about business, but if you could find a way to monetize your passion, you may not need to work, right? And you'll never feel like it's working. One of the big problems that happens with baby boomers is sometimes they don't want to retire. They have the money. That's actually very sad, guys. They have the money, they stash up the money to retire. And when it's time to retire, they actually don't want to. And you know why, guys? Because their whole meaning of life is going to work. That's the only thing that gives them meaning. Should they retire and they have no passion, nothing they can pursue after the retirement, then they feel like they're not living, they're useless. And that can cause a source of depression that could, reduce the life expectancy of people that are elderly. Right? Imagine you're alone, you have no passion, you retire, you're just staying home, waiting for your time to die, right? Finding things to do, but you're not really passionate about it, so you're forcing yourself to do it. It's a sad thing, guys. Most people that retires, not most, not most, but there's a lot of people that retires, guys. 2, 3 years later, they find things to do, like going on Walmart, and it's not even because of the money. Some actually do it because of the money, which is a bigger problem. But some do it because they have nothing else to do. They have no passion. They didn't plan their retirement, and they didn't really think about, applying their passion into any types of productive work. So same thing happened with athlete, guys. Athletes have a shorter career, right? They hit the wall. Shout out to LeBron James. I don't know if there is any LeBron James fan here. Let me see. Let me see. Flint, shout out to you, sir. Hey, man, what's going on here, man? What's going on? Shout out to you. Yes, fellow wealth engineers. That's an OG in the chat right there on the Discord channel. And make sure you join in the community, guys. The Discord group is growing. Let's keep that momentum, share information together. And if you want to be on the exclusive clubs where we share the real stuff, guys, make sure you enjoy this deal before it closes the end of December. I'm waiting for you guys. We can have that includes also a consultation call. So you'll have an hour with me where I'll talk to you about the latest crypto that I'm buying and why I'm buying them, and help you out too, guys. All right. Who else? Poli Tau. Shout out to you, sir. Passion in wealth engineering group is contagious. Uh, Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, yes, yes. That's my new passion, man. The same energy I had for cars, I found a way to translate that in cryptocurrencies. I love technology. I always did when I was a kid. Cryptocurrencies is technology, and then it makes money. And I was always wanted to be a millionaire. Always. Before I was disrespected by girls, and then definitely after I was disrespected by girls. Throughout my entire life, I wanted money. So passion in technology, passion for wanting to want money mixed together. It's like, you know, it's a no brainer. It's a no brainer right there. And on top of that, if the richer I am, the more cars I buy. So it's like, really? Of course, I'm going to be passionate about that, right? But I also passionate about education, educating people. I think it comes from being a big brother. I was a big brother, and I always wanted to see my brother doing well and avoid the mistakes that I did. So I would put a lot of energy in guiding him, teaching him to make sure that he would be the best, the guy that I could not be. I wanted my brother to be that guy. And so far, it's working well, guys. So far, it's working well. So if we're using wealth engineering as an example, I design wealth engineering exactly like that with this topic that I'm doing here: how to monetize your passion. It's not just random that I start a podcast and I started a business. It's I really spent a lot of time thinking about all my passions and finding one common point that I mix together and then create something that I can be monetized on. And even without having a 1K, I was still able to generate income. I mean, it's not big, of course, but it's still something. It's still something. It definitely motivates me. I'll tell you that. It definitely motivates me to move forward because doing it out of passion is great, but doing it out of passion and getting compensated for it definitely gives you more validation and more satisfaction to drive towards your passion. So, yes, shout out to you for this comment and thank you very much for supporting the channel. J Bones, shout out to you. The intentional millionaire. Yeah, saying hello. Good, good, good. Let me see. Let me see. Very true. They are afraid to retire because they get stuck to the routine and fear. Yes, man, it's ridiculous. The fear change, and that's so true. The older you are, and that will happen to all of you guys. That already happens to me, and I'm not even. I don't consider myself really old. The older you are, the less likely you will want change. You will welcome change, right? And that's why technology, innovation, all that is affecting old people all the time in any generation because they're reluctant to change. They're spend their entire life living one way. Changing is a source of stress for them, right? They fall into depression after retirement. Facts, facts, guys. Absolute facts. I've seen this over and over again. I've seen this in my own family. I've seen this in friends' family. It's and guess what, guys? The sad thing is that helps contribute that contributes to their debt. If we want to be cold, guys, if we want to be giving you the hard truth, right? The raw truth is when you retire and you have no passion, nothing to work on, just waiting your time to die, that accelerates your death time. You will have more will to live. And sometimes it's a matter of that. Like it's sometimes it's kind of like your body is being programmed to what you really want, not what you think you want, but what you're really feeling, right? If you feel like you need that energy, like you never hear the story, guys, of people that are in their dying bed, they're not supposed to even be talking, waking up. And then next thing you know, they're talking, they're waking up, they're doing something that is outrageous before they die. They're still end up dying, but I have some perfect example of that. My own grandma, my own grandma did that. RIP, rest in peace to her. But she always said, she always said, well, she said two things about that. She always said no one should ever know her age. Because from my mom's side, people look very young. They look like 25, 30 years old younger than they are. Crazy. So my grandma said, hey, never tell my age. Keep people guessing. It's the first thing she said. Second thing she said, she was very passionate about religion. Passionate about religion. She was over 80 years old, walking on her own, going to church. She never wanted anyone to drive her to the church. She wanted to do the walk alone. To her, doing the walk to go to church is like paying, for some reason, paying homage to the God she wants to pray on, right? So to her, that's part of her religious journey. She wanted to walk to the bus station, wait on a subway station, in the cold, icy. Like in Canada, it's very cold. Sometimes in the winter, it's icy. She would stay in the ice, walk. Sometimes she would slide and hurt herself, hurt her leg. Next week, she's going back again. Relentless, relentless. And the second thing she said that when she's on a dying bed, she wanna have a death where she can at least look at everyone's in the room and say goodbye before she leaves and make a prayer. She even had her own song like the Ave Maria. She wanted to sing Ave Maria before she died. She always mentioned that. When she died, she had an accident going to going back, going to home from church, right? She left church going to home, and then she was on a subway. It was a heartbreak, right? She was old. She was standing up next to a chair where that was dedicated for old people, but a young guy was sitting there. They didn't want to give the chair to my grandma. Fine, that's his role, that's his choice. But my grandma was standing up, heartbreak, hit her head, pow, very hard on the door, and that she lost consciousness. She was in a coma. My auntie was a doctor and she's trying to find ways to save her, right? But once you look at the scans of all the damage she had in her brain, it's like there's no way. Everyone was saying there's no way she would even talk, no way she would open her eyes, no way she would do any of that. Guess what? The next day, she woke up. She spent an entire day talking to everyone who came in the room, smiling at them. And then before she died, she sang Ave Maria. Before she died, right before she died, she sang the entire song and then died. That was my grandma. So, all that to say, guys, how do you explain this? It's because science could, doctor couldn't. What was that energy that fueled her to do something beyond what science know is possible, right? How does someone who has almost a vegetable brains wake up, can rationally process information, talk to everyone in a room? People, everyone was surprised, but they were all rushing because they're like, we may lose her at any minute. No, she spent the entire day and has the enough energy to still remember and sing the song that she always wanted to do before she died. Will, guys. That was pure will. And that will, it comes from her passion. That's the difference between someone who has no passion and dies because they just want to die because they feel like it's probably going to be better than living here and not doing anything, versus someone who has a will to live for something, right? And I know that's a little bit deep conversation, guys, and maybe we didn't expect to go that route. But the reason why I'm sharing that with you guys, it's finding your passion is important because 99 out of 10 businesses fails. 99 out of 100 startups will fail. So how do you have the energy to do some things that the odds are so against you and still doing it and keep moving? Where do you find that energy? Because trust me, within 3 months, whatever energy you had at the beginning, you will lose it 3 months from now, and then shit's going to be real. You're gonna be like, "What am I doing?" You're going to have all these doubts in your head. But if you're doing something you're passionate about, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how difficult it is, regardless of the odds, you will keep at it. And in business, in making money, sometimes you need that level of dedication. So it's great to invest your portfolio, guys. It's great to invest in your portfolio to grow your wealth. Shout out to Cashflow Hunter. It's great to invest in Monero if you want to go there. I know I know you like that. Just I knew you would have liked this podcast. I'm happy you end up watching it because I removed it. Guys, I removed this podcast I had earlier this week. We went for 4 hours, guys. 4 hours dropping gems, knowledge. Shout out to JB, the guest I had on the panel. But hey, man, this video I had to remove it, man. And it was doing great. It was doing great. I would probably have 1K subscribers already if I had let this video public because it was going great on the analytics. But man, I had to remove it, man, because for his own security, man, for his own security. And if you guys are wondering why did I do that, in cryptocurrency, guys, there is a guy named John McAfee. He is the founder of the McAfee antivirus. I think at some point he was probably a millionaire. I don't know if he was a billionaire, but he was doing well. You know, he was doing well, and it was the in the early days of the Silicon Valley. Early days of Silicon Valley, millionaire there, right? Exit this company, selling it for millions and millions of dollars, and then navigate the world, traveling. He was a free spirit, and then as a independent guy, he got into to cryptocurrencies, and one of the cryptocurrencies he was enjoying and promoting a lot was Monero, right? Because he's evaluate his freedom, but he was promoting cryptos currency in general a lot. I think the last quarter of his life was dedicated to technologies and cryptos. But yeah, he he even joked about being acc- people will find him accidentally kill himself because he knows that they will go after him, and no one gave him any problem. No one gave him any problem. He was passionate about that, and talking about passion, he was passionate about freedom and doing whatever he can to do it, to achieve it, to help people achieve it, right? We're talking about passion. And he never had any problems not paying his tax in the United States because apparently in the United States, it's unconstitutional to pay taxes. Technically, I've seen these videos all the time on YouTube about that, where lawyers goes and they try to read the Constitution and they say they'll not pay tax. And actually, if you do that, technically you can win a case if you have a good facts to back you up. But what they don't let you to promote this. If you start promoting that to other people and encourage them not to pay tax, now you're playing with the major source of income for the state. In Canada, I don't think it's like that. We don't even have a president. So it's still technically being ruled by the queen. So hey, we don't have no power, but in the state, apparently, it's still the same. It's unconstitutional to pay taxes. We're going to have a debate about currency versus money. But the reason why the United States was even created was because they wanted to escape the problems that were happening in Europe, especially in England, due to currency crashing. Central bank remove the connection from money to currency, actually create currency, print currency out of oblivion to the point where whenever you get to a situation where your income is more than half, like your rent costs more than half of what your income is, like you barely have enough for food, right? And then if you have kids, forget it. That inspire a revolution, because it's better to do a revolution and fight the system and hopefully change it versus staying there and leaving that revolution, right? So that's how that was the trigger that forces the founders of the states to go in this island and make a law and design it in a way that, hey, we do not want central bank. We do not want central bank. We do not want taxes, the right to bear arms so that you can keep the government honest. All these constitutional laws was to protect the people against the government, because sooner or later, government, great absolute power corrupt absolutely. It is a human nature to abuse power. And that will be something that we'll have to deal as a species from centuries onward. So, for his own good, I removed it because I did ask him to remove his face on the camera at first, but he actually wanted it to be on camera. He insisted on that. And then, yeah, he insisted on being on camera because he wanted people to trust him. To him, having people's trust was more important than the knowledge. He wanted people to understand that, because many people that, sharing these type of information, you don't know who they are. You don't know their intention, their true intention. He wanted that to be there. So that's why he insisted. But man, after I saw that blacklist code, I'm like, man, this is deep. This is deep. But thank you guys. You helped me make that decision too. As you were sharing on the chat, to remove it, to unlisted. At least it's unlisted. It's not public. Yeah, it's still in my Discord. If you're in my Discord on the exclusive member only, that you will be able to see it. But it's not public. All right. It's at least so it won't be to a point where it's count as promotion, because that's the danger. Once you start promoting to a large amount of people, the idea of freedom in the states or in any country, you are a danger to the government, and the government is more powerful than you. So they will make your life a living hell. Hence, that's how John McAfee went, right? He even tattooed in his own arm, whacked. Term used for people who are accidentally killed themselves, right? And that's exactly what happened to him. He was accidentally found in dead, and in the way that he was living life, this guy loves to live, right? He's enjoying life. So that's the thing. And I was talking to JB about that after. I'm like, yeah, that's basically why I decided to remove it too. But anyway, passion. See, Sean McAfee had passion for freedom, passion on how using cryptocurrency for freedom. Knows the risk. He knows the risk of not paying taxes, of government chasing you, of keep talking publicly about Monero, about what it can do, about cryptocurrency as a whole. Still do it. Not saying passion is gonna get you killed. It could, but it takes a different types of energy to give someone's that level of courage, right? That level of courage goes beyond money. You cannot buy this, right? This is pure. You cannot buy this level of integrity. And that level of integrity is more powerful than anyone that you would have paid to do that same job. Because at some point, when it comes to their own life, they would leave. They would stop the deal. They wouldn't continue the job. And sometimes, guys, I'm not saying you need to go to that extreme to make money, but it helps because you need to have a certain level of obsession if you really want to go the business route. And I'm going to make more streams about business, guys, because hey, as I said, we're here to engineering wealth. Part of engineering wealth, you got to make money, you got to keep money, and you got to multiply money. You can use crypto to multiply money, and you can use business to make money or currency. You make currency, you invested in something that multiplies it over time, and that's the secret to wealth. So if you can have a job 9 to 5, you can find a passion, do a side hustle with that, and find a way to monetize it, then yes, you're increasing your income. And with increasing your income comes more investment you are capable to make. And the more investment you make, the faster you get to your goals, retiring early and have more time to apply to your passion, right? So that's why I would recommend you guys to look into different ways of making money. Shout out to you. Wise decision. Thank you very much. JB. Oh, man, I'm happy you got to see it, guys. I'm happy you got to see it, guys. Thank you. But man, I hope you take. I'm already working on the knowledge you was sharing, guys. I'm already working on this because I had a plan for the bear market when the bear market comes to put it on stable coin and then stick those stable coins at a higher rate. But I'm still going to do this plan, but it's going to be a different allocation, right? It's going to be a different allocation. It's not going to be 100% of my profit that I sell will go to one stable coin, right? Now it's going to have to change. But man, this is why information is key. If you took my course, you know this. An engineer have to create a system. You design a system so that it can be efficient regardless of the weather, regardless of the situation that happens. Your system needs to produce efficiently. And how do you keep that system running smoothly? It's by having a feedback loop pointing to you and alerting you whenever there is something that needs to be adapted in your system so that you can do the adoption and whatever you need to do to make it work. In the wealth engineering system, I showed the diagram in my course. Key part to make it work is information. This is why I created a Discord group. And again, talking about monetizing your passion, I'm always already going to do the work. The work that you see me doing on Discord, sharing information daily, I was already going to do it on my own. With or without you, I would have done it. I was already doing it. But how do you monetize your passion? I could do it on my own. Whenever someone asks, I pull up my Discord, I type a keyword, I have all the information that I want about these cryptocurrencies. You're only going to see that if you're in the like, exclusive ones. If you're in the general and the free version, you will see some information, but trust me, it's not the same. Yes, I could have done that. Someone asked me, pull up my Discord, type on any information about the cryptocurrencies, like I type the symbol of the currency, it search me like all the information I post about this cryptocurrency for the year. It's a great tool for research. Every time I find something, because every day I find cryptos, I find different information. Every time I find something, I put it on a channel. And then whenever I need it, I'm doing a review later on. I search and oh, okay, this happened, and I see a pattern. And guess what I do? That's one of my gifts. When I see patterns in the past, it helps me make a better picture in the future. I was already going to do it. I did the Discord for me to better navigate all the information I was getting, to classify the information, so that I can make better investment. But how do we monetize your passion? Well, I could make a Patreon, invite other people to join in. If they want to join, fine. If they're not, that's their problem. I was gonna do it anyway. Guess what? Many people join in. We have over 40 people who join in. I did not expect to have all that when I started. Over 40 people who are paid customers who join in the Discord. That's great. Even if it's $1, right? It would have been great because I would have done it alone and only spend money and not make any money out of it. I'm passionate about searching information. I stay late every day doing YouTube. After YouTube, go on my research. I have especially after JB dropped all this knowledge. I have 3 weeks worth of research to do. Out of a lot of these information was dropped on the podcast that we did this earlier this week. All right, this Wednesday. I have to do a bunch of research. And it's not just research. It's research. It's trying it out. That's how you learn. You try it out and see if it works. Trying it, learning by example, right? So that's how you do it, guys. But I'm passionate about that. I'm like, how do I monetize it? Some people do Patreons. I did a Patreon, but I'm passionate also about education. When I was my portfolio was growing in the bear market. My friends were seeing all that. They were investing in stocks. They were asking me, how do you do that? Told them. They don't get it. They understand it. They understand how I did it, but they don't understand the big picture. I found another friend, told him the same thing. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a business because I see demand. I have a skill that people need. I could monetize it. I did the course. Did the course, only record it once. Every time someone asked me, pointing them on the course. Now, at first it was $72. And then the more people wanting it, the more I increase the price. Now it's the price that it's at right now. I'll leave it at this price, but it also includes 1 hour consultation call at whenever you want. But that's a form of monetizing not just my passion, but my work that I've done before. Instead of repeating the work, it becomes like automation. It becomes a business. It becomes scalable. Again, I'm passionate about cryptocurrencies. I'm passionate about finance. I'm passionate about doing research so I can learn more. And I'm passionate about investing. How do you monetize that? Wealth engineering. That's how I created it. But what if you're not passionate about finance, cryptocurrencies? How do you find your passion? Right? Very quickly, I'll read this. Peter Investor M, amongst the three liabilities to wealth, which is the worst? One tag. I mean, I think you already know the answer to this question. I think you already know the answer to this question, but I think you're just trying to figure out if you agree or disagree with me. But fine, let's answer. It's a great question. Great question. Two, inflation. Three, interest rate on good and services. Among the three liabilities to wealth, which is worse? I mean, without any question, without any thinking about it, I didn't even need to read the next two. Taxes. Taxes is worse. If you think about it, taxes is your biggest expenses in your life. And why, when we thinking about business, the reason why we're thinking about business, it's not just because we can apply our passion and turn it into a job and then we turn it into making money. We can also leverage that as a way to reduce our taxes, right? So that's the other advantage of using your passion for and monetize it, because now it becomes a business, and then that can helps you keep more money. And the more money you keep, the more you can invest. And the more you invest, the wealthier you get. But taxes is without any doubt the worst, because taxes is the biggest expenses you have in the year, and that's a direct impact on the amount of wealth you could acquire. Now, inflation takes its time to really make its effect, right? Interest rate on goods and services. Well, in Canada, we have taxes on anything we buy, right? We have taxes on anything we buy. So, goods and services, they all taxes, right? And oh man, in Canada, it's worse 15%. You get taxed about 8%. Uh, federal, the other way around, 7% federal, 8% provincial. So think of you as the entire United States government would tax you, and then the state itself will also tax you if you're in the states. That's what it translates to, provincial states. Maybe I should join the Discord. Maybe you should, man. Maybe you should. It's up to you. All I gotta say, man, if you don't do it now, I don't think you'll ever do it. Me, regardless whether you join or not, my life moves on, right? I'm not here to force you to join, but what I know is if you don't join before December 31st, I don't think you'll join, because in one payment you have a life. Think about it. In one payment you have a lifetime deal that will never be asked to pay again, and you'll have the same service as people that are paying monthly. And after January 1st, whether it's my brother, my dad, my mom who ask me for this deal, they'll never have it. My own son, I'll make my own son pay if he wants to be in the Discord. So there's no way anyone else will have a special deal. And people are already asking, but no, principles are principle. That's my principle. That's the way I want to run the business. Whether it's successful or not, that's the way it's going to be. But until then, lifetime access, one payment. And you also get a course. You also get 1 hour consultation in private that I'll be with you. Answer any question you have. And most people ask about cryptos. Fine. That's the deal. Right? The same service used to be $72. Same service. Right? Then it went to $97. Turns out I sold more when I had it at 97 than I sold at 72. And guess what? When I increased it to 369, I sold more at 369 than I had it at $97. And I had it at $97 for a while. I don't understand. People seems to want to pay more. So it's up to you, man. Up to you. But if you want to join, I would definitely recommend you join before December 31st. Right? The MJC owns my own son, man. My own son. All these videos that I'm doing, I have him in mind. In case I die, at least that knowledge is there. I was really, as I was doing these videos on my course, I was really thinking about it that way. And that helped me make a course where I can explain things in a simple way, which people appreciate. People appreciate my ways of breaking down informations and concepts that are usually hard to get. They appreciate that. And I was doing that not just to monetize and create a business, but also when my son is ready, he can get my course and I can pass my message to him as assuming I die. All right. But if he really wants it, he needs to pay for it. That's the way it's going to be. There needs to be a first step, right? Like if Morpheus is giving you the red pill or the blue pill, he's only putting the red pill and the blue pill in front of you. You have to put your hand and raise it and pick it up. He cannot force you to pick it up and forces you in your mouth. It doesn't work that way. There needs to be a level of you make the first step if you really care. And that in itself is a lesson. That in itself is opening something in your mind that now you've made the step, you're willing to you're ready to start walking. You made that choice not just with words but with your actions. As a mentor, as a coach, as an inspiring mentor, that is something that I cannot rob from people. I cannot rob them the ability to make that first step. Is It is the most important step in your journey, in any journey. It's the first step. It's that decision where you decide, I have enough in one situation, I'm going to make a step towards a better place. So that's why it's like this. It's always going to be, whether it's $10, whether it's $1. If I do a course like that, and even for my own son, I will make him pay for it. He has to make the step if he really cares about it. I won't force him to do it. I'll encourage him. I'll do whatever I can, but he'll have to pay for it. And if he needs the money, hey, we'll find his passion and we'll find a way to monetize it. I hope that answers your question. Yes, my damn son. Tough love, man. The world has no I gotta train him for the world, man. The world doesn't care if he's my son or not. The world cares about result. The world cares about result. And people that provides results are people who have the drive to push forward to create those results. Right? You don't make results out of nowhere. Question: Do you invest in NBA Top Shop NFT Moment? I did, only for to try it out. Not really because I want to be build a big portfolio. I did it for two reasons. One is there's a player that I love, Lamelo Ball and Lonzo Ball. I love what their parents are doing. I think it's probably the most beautiful story in basketball in my lifetime so far. So I want to encourage anything that they're doing or anything that has to do with them. I'm a fan, basically. I'm a fan, and the NBA Top Shot. So I bought. The idea was a concept at the time. I bought it so I can understand how it works, but also I bought like the NFT of the players that I care about, right? So yeah, I do. I mean, I don't consider that investing. It cost me like $47. No, I think it's worth like 90. So sure, but it's not really investing. It's more like a collectible. Cash flow hunter. Join the Discord is free, but Wealth Engineering course is 72. No, I mean like at some point, like when I first launched the course, I had no one, right? And no customer. So I put the course price, the price was at $72. But for anyone who paid for the course at $72, they have the same benefit as the people that are paying the course now. That's the and why did I do that? Why did I do that? People are pissed at me. I have one of my best friend. We still talk, but will never forgive me for this because I told her one day I'm going to increase the price. I don't care if you're my best friend or not. It will apply to everyone. Again, I'm straightforward, guys. I'm a nice guy, but I'm straightforward. Principle. I'm a principle type of guy. The day came, she didn't make the move. We raised the price to $97. Oh, why you did that? You guys, I'm your friend. Give me a price. No, no. But if you had made the purchase at $72, guess what? It's the same thing as buying cryptocurrencies early when it doesn't look like it's super safe. It doesn't look like there is traction. You might be the first customer who's doing it. You're taking a leap of faith. That's a $72 that you might lose. But you know what? Let me try anyway. Right? It's a risky move, but it's a good move. Now that there is people that have done it, right? We have many people that have done it. Now it sounds like a simpler move to do. But back then, when I first started, no customers. You're the first 10. You're like, what is this? Is this guy's legit? Taking a leap of faith? They have to be compensated for this. They took a bigger risk. They could have lost that $72 if I didn't deliver. Right? Same thing in stocks, same thing in crypto. And I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose to teach you a lesson. Being early pays off. It pays off to be early. Sometimes it pays off to take the risk. It doesn't necessarily mean the risk will always pay off, but the people that are early, that are willing to take the risk, they make more gains. They earn more, right? Staying comfortable in a 9 to 5 job is safe, Going to use your passion and start a business is risky, right? Taking your savings to go start a business is risky, right? Your saving, in theory, is better stay there. But hey, as we were talking about the liabilities here, shout out to Peter M. Inflation is going to kill your savings anyway, right? So you're not really saving much. It's either you multiplying your money fast enough or you lose it. All right. That's how it works with currency. There is no such thing as saving. But you have that money. What do you do with it? Do you make a safe investment that's going to give you guarantee what you pay for, but that's it? Or you go in a risky investment. You may want to do both. But when it comes to $72, what is the risk reward? Risk, you lose $72. Reward, you get information that's going to make you millions. Risk rewards. Some people in the group pay $72. They already are in the six figures this year. Right? Some people were below, like it's 5 figures in debt. Now our net worth is 5 figures in 1 year. Being early, having time to prepare, having time to try and having mistakes before the bull run. Right? $72. Look at what these people gain. $72, they had time to practice, get ready for the bull run. When the bull run started, they were already there. And guess what? Most people that made the gains this year were already there before the bull run. Then you have an influx of people who wants to come in. Most of them are the same people that I offered the deal at 72. Right? Now it costs 97. Hesitating 97. Boom, price go up to 369. Now you want to make a move. Fine, let's make the move. But guess what? You lost all the time that could have made you lots of money. That's how life works. Don't hate JC for it. I'm just the guy who's going to show you the way. And this is at least it's a smaller scale. It's not like you're losing $10,000. It's not like you're losing $20,000. It's not like you made my mistake, and I'm still learning this lesson. This year, I waited 3 weeks to make a decision that cost me 400,000. 400,000. I'm still learning that lesson, guys. But I wanted to set up my business like this. And in itself, there is a lesson. And the lesson is if you're going to make a move, especially when it comes to your own education, financial education, make that move early. Just like the stock market or crypto market, the earlier you are, the more gain you make. All right. So that's why I did it like that. Sorry, I went a little bit sidetracked. Good evening. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's cold. But whatever floats your boat, yes, yes. And it's out of love, guys. I'm doing it out of love, not because I'm cold, I'm a mean guy, because it's better that it's a simulation of the real world. At least I can soften the blow if it happens here, but at least he'll know it. He'll know it. When he goes to the world, he will go ready. He will be ready. My son at 12 years old should be managing $1 million portfolio. That's my goal that's my vision for my son. 12 years old, I want to give you 1 million, turn that into 10. That's what I want for him. At 18, if he wants to do anything else, fine. But you have that knowledge and you know how the world really works. Should your passion fail, you couldn't monetize it, you can always go back to this. And that wasn't the other point I was going to talk about, guys. When you're talking about passion, very quickly, if you want to find your passion, one thing that helped me a lot is thinking back. Like, I try to visualize myself. It's a weird way, and I'm a very visual person. Again, I'm bipolar, so I'm crazy. But I literally imagine two people. Like I'm in a room. I call this guy. It's kind of like he reminds me of Dr. Phil, right? It's me. It's still me, but dressed like Dr. Phil. And then Dr. Phil, which is a version of me, is watching me, and he's watching everything I've done on the past until now. And what Dr. Phil is trying to analyze is everything I like. Since I was a baby, apparently my mom said I love tomato. If I was crying, they would give me tomato. I would love it. I would love to play soccer with tomatoes when I was a baby. Fine, right? I loved catching tomatoes. So I try to record everything I heard about myself and I realize about myself that I like in kind of like a piece of paper. And I not and by the time I'm like, if you're watching all the way you were a baby until you're like in your 20s or 30s, then you have a list of things you like, right? So that's the first homework. If you really want to find your passion, you do that. And then you're going to see a bunch of things that are not related at first. But if you look on another level, on a deeper level, you might realize there's a pattern, right? You might realize there is a pattern in things that you like. Me, the patterns that I like in whatever I'm doing is money. It's not just money, it's power. I want to have a scenario of control. And that's what I'm saying. Tomato versus crypto, right? Unrelated. But as a kid, I wanted to grab that tomato and play with it. No one would give it to me. It's funny. My son is the same way. My son is the same way. I see it already. Right? I wanted to have that power to control my tomato as a kid. Just like in crypto, I want to have the power to control my own wealth. Right? You will see a lot of patterns. I remember I was always wanting to I was always looking at people that had in Haiti, people that the haves, right, and the have not, and always saying that what do the haves know that the haves not do not know, and how do I make sure I go here? Because I see here, and this is not a pleasant way to live, right? But if you think about it, I'm thinking about power and money. And also, when I have it, I also want to be in a situation that also something else I did use my video games, organize like events, party, invite all my friends so that they can play their video games, use my electricity in my house in Haiti, right? That's what I would do. I would do that. And what am I doing? Why do I love doing this so much? Well, I feel like I have the power and I'm applying it to help people. Patterns. I have a power. I have a wealth of it's not necessarily money, but it's a wealth of something that you have that others don't that is valuable and you want to share it, right? So I'm passionate about a lot of things like that. I'm passionate about cars too. I like the fact of driving in a road and it helps me think about a lot of things. Sometimes if I have a lot of thoughts in my head, I love just driving, take the long way home, and then in a weird way. When I see the road, I imagine myself putting my thoughts on the windshield and I'm seeing the road and my thoughts at the same time. Weird. I get it. I get it. It's weird. But that helps me organize my thoughts. Love doing that. I'm in control of my thoughts. I can organize it in a way that I do it. So, patterns, find patterns in everything that you're doing. And I'm not saying everything will be related, but if you think hard enough, you will find things are on a first layer, they're unrelated. I told you, as a baby playing with tomato, grab my own tomato. Now talking about crypto, totally unrelated. But if you look deep enough, you will realize, hey, ever since he was a baby, he was a dictator. He wanted to have control. He wanted to have the power. And it's the same thing here, right? So that can help you find your passion. things you're passionate about. But that's a little bit deep. That's more like very close to purpose. That's like the first work you have to do to get your purpose. But part of working on your purpose is to know your passion. That's the first step to know your purpose. You got to master your passion, know all your strengths, all your weaknesses, and understand. Because the reason why I'm talking like that about passion is because your passion will change. In my 20s, I love cars. In my 30s, I love finance. I'm probably going to love something else in my 40s. Maybe real estate, maybe something else. I don't know. Right? So now passion changes over time, but the logic behind the change will stay the same. The reason why it's car versus cryptos now, simply so that I can buy more cars, I can be more in control, right? I can do what I feel peaceful, which is driving and visualize my thoughts on the windshield, right? It's the same thing, just different methods to achieve the same thing. But ways to find your passion, you write down everything you like, you know about yourself, what people tell you about yourself, you write it down. Don't even think about it. Think of anything you like, you write it down, and then ask people, "Hey, what do you think I like?" And then you might have an answer that you didn't even think about. You're like, "Yeah, that's true," and you write it down. And then later, you look at all this, you're trying to find a common point. And that is the true passion, because that common point, no matter how it shift on a layer that everyone can see, but that thing right there will stay the same, and that will have a direct correlation with your purpose. So it's a deeper mental work, lots of thoughts. Sometimes you have to go deep in your thoughts and to do it. But find your passion, guys. It's not an easy thing to do. Not many people do it, but some people are lucky. They're just born. Their passion ooze out. And some people, they spend their entire life. They're retired. They're still not. They still haven't found their passion. But if you find your passion, it could be basketball. It could be bowling, right? And that these are the obvious ones. And you if it's bowling, you'll know it's bowling, right? But how do you monetize that if it was bowling? Can you make a YouTube video about it? Can you teach people? Can you make a podcast about bowling? Right? That forces you to stay within what you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about it enough, you're going to do the research and make the best podcast you can make. Right? Now with YouTube, it has become so easy to monetize your passion. It wasn't always that easy. The road to entry to business used to be hard. You need to have at least 100,000 just to get a retail store if you wanted to do bowling, right? Now it's easy. You don't even have to have a retail store. You can do a podcast on your phone. You can do a stream. YouTube makes a lot of things easy. Assuming you did not want to do YouTube and you're passionate about bowling, right? Can you find a stock of company that are making materials of that creates bowling? Can you find a company listed on the stock exchange that creates bowling products out of many products they'll probably create, right? Can you find a crypto that is doing something? And if you like bowling, I don't know, maybe you might like casino too. It's not bowling is not really gambling, but right? I'm sure that is correlated to other job like I don't know. I don't know. But there it's not going to be just bowling that you're going to be passionate about. You can also mix passions. Cars, for me, cars. I don't know if you guys noticed early in my YouTube career, I used to have this video format where I would be in my car. I had my GoPro and I would just talk to it as I'm driving. Love cars. And then again, as I'm having these thoughts, I'm just talking it out loud instead of keeping it all in my mind. I could have made my channel just like that. If I had kept going, I know one. Shout out to her, Delightful Freedom. She used to start. She was my mate on my YouTube mate. We were starting together on YouTube. Both very low subscribers, and now she's 100,000 subscribers. Right? She hit 100,000 this year, making basically working full time on YouTube. Find a way to turn her passion into a business, and that's what I'm saying. With YouTube now, it becomes very easy. It's the same thing when you go to a YouTube channel and they talk about your niche. What is your niche? Your niche is just another word of finding what you're passionate about and then what you can talk about and make a YouTube about it. So YouTube, I definitely recommend that as a way, a medium, a vehicle to monetize your passion. But what other ways we can do it? Before we get there, let me give a couple of shout out. Shout out to you, Natasha Vincent. How are you doing? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No worries. No worries. And thank you for being here anyway. And make sure you hit the like button, guys, as you're coming in. Do you have a channel, Natasha, or are you planning to have a channel? Let's. By the way, guys, I told you guys we're going to have a call-in show, so I think it's time to send the link. So hey, call in, guys. Share with us your passions. If you don't know what your passion are, uh, let's try to think about finding ways to do it, and then let's think of ways to monetize it. Very quick story, guys. There was a time I was a Uber driver. I was using Uber as a way to fund. Um, I was using Uber as a way to fund in my startup companies, and also free up my time, have control of my time. Right? I was using Uber for that. And one of the things I was passionate about is personal development. I'm still passionate about personal development, right? I still think my channel has a air of personal development in it. And that's something I'm always going to be passionate about. Why? Because very young, I end up doing it for my own brother. And I enjoy doing it, especially when I see the results, right? He applies what I tell him, he has the results, and that makes me feel like I'm helping. I always like helping people. It's in my own selfish way, I'm very proud of helping someone and that get results. That makes me feel better about the person I am today. I know that part is selfish, but the best purpose is when you can mix your own selfish desires with your selfless desires. Mixing your selfish desires with your selfless desires. That is the secret to purpose, right? So yes, that's how I found my passion. And I what I used to do when I was a Uber driver is everyone would come in, not everyone, but I would try to have a conversation, right? And many times, especially millennials, I would have a conversation about what do you like, having small talks, and then automatically I would use my creativity to find ways to tell them how to monetize whatever they like, right? Some of them already did a certain, like already tried, like being an influencer, for example, and I would give them a random idea that they never thought about, and apparently I was good at it. I'm like, oh, okay. And every time I was thinking of different ways to monetize passion. So I used to do that as a Uber driver, just listening to people and then find ways to like, hey, do this, do this, do this. So yeah, guys, let's practice tonight. If you want to call in, share your passion, and let's see what can we do in the modern world to monetize your passion. So shout out to you, Natasha. What did you say? No channel for me, at least not yet. But hey, it doesn't mean that you can't call in. If you want to call in, you don't even have to put the camera on if you don't want to. Just the audio is good enough. And same for everyone else. If you don't want to cam, that's okay. Just your audio and what you're willing to share. That's good for us. And then, yes, share about different things you like, and then we'll see. Hey, we can do a market research, see what the competition is doing, and then try to find some creative ways of doing something unique in the market, because that's the principle of business. You gotta you gotta see it's good to have competition, because at least you know that niche works. Then if you can apply something unique in what the competition is not doing, that's how you distinguish yourself from the competition. And then if you can leverage having an audience, a customer base, that can absorb and consume whatever you're producing, that's how you get shares out of that entire market, right? Same principle of business. It applies anywhere, even in just random ideas that you may have and that you consider for YouTube. But hey, guys, call in if you want to. And I would be it would be very cool if we could have at least one and talk about that. But shout out to you, J Bones. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, support channel. Yes, guys, we're almost at 1K. We're almost at 1K. Hopefully by next week we can be at 1K. But if not, definitely before the month ends. I have a lot of uh, show ready for you guys. Sunday, tune in for a show. We're going to talk about hacks that you can have to build your wealth with credit cards, right? So we're going to talk about that. I'm preparing something for you. We're going to have a guest. We'll talk about that. You guys, I always try to find the best guest that I can. Hey, as a small channel, you gotta go with what you have. But she's great. She's great. She has a bigger channel. She's also a YouTuber making content about credit cards. So I'll invite her in, and then we'll talk about it. And I have a surprise for you guys. So yes, seven more subs to 1,000. Absolutely, and make sure you tune in, guys. I don't know. I'm sure I mentioned it before, but when we do that 1K celebration, I want all of you guys in, especially you, Jibbles. Right? All right. The government. Oh man, you're too much, man. Cash flow hunter, man. These guys too much. The government will tax our passion, man. Look, man. Look. Of course you will, but hey, your passion can be a business, right? Your passion can be a business, and a business, you're going to get less tax. If you can hire someone or two to help you scale your business, now it's going to be a lot easier to get business loans, right? That you can leverage against your income, and that's not taxable, right? There's so many things you can do once you have a business that you cannot do as one entity, right? Why do government gives the tax employees and self-employed people more than the tax investors and business owners? Why do they do that? Any guess? Yeah, I don't know if Peter M is still here, but very curious to what you would say. Colin, maybe you want to answer that as a Colin. Let me know. But why, in your opinion, shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't it be government taxing the business owners and investors a lot more because they have a lot more money, and then they tax the employees and self-employed less? Eh? Why? Shout out to you, Cash Flow Hunter. That's why. Creating creating more jobs. And it's a lesson I've learned. I've learned it the hard way. And it's not really hard because I didn't suffer, but I wish I knew that a lot earlier in my life. There was a time in 2015 I really struggled because I didn't know which way to go. It's one of these time in your life where you're going to have forks, and whichever way you decide to go will choose the destiny of your life. You could go this route. Shout out to Will Smith. You could go do this route and go with Jada Pinkett and and rise all the way to the top, right? Rise all the way to the top and now be at the bottom of all jokes in the manosphere. Or he could have done a different route and still rise to the top, but stay at the top, right? And I had one of these. Oh, I see someone in the panel. Give me a second. I'll jump to you soon. Just give me a second. But yes, and I I had this fork in my life, and it's fork in my life where I see a pattern where I keep losing my job, right? Keep losing my job. I lost my job the first time. Job triggered a depression. That triggered my first manic episode. Sent me to the hospital. Then I was on my way to my second depression, and I feel all the symptoms. I feel it coming. And on top of that, I also feel that I was going to lose my job again in 2015. Then I'm like, okay, so I have this pressure to force me to do something. Because if you don't do anything, you're going to the hospital just like the first time. So you got to do something. I was forced to make a decision to find my passion quick. Because if you don't do it, you might die. And I'm not joking, guys. People were seriously worried about my life because I lost all consciousness. I lost the ability to process my mental mind, like process thoughts. My instinct was acting, and my instinct was not happy. My instinct was depressed. So, yes, I was talking about deleting myself at the time. So, as I'm conscious and I feel all this coming, I gotta make a choice. Where do I go? I'm going to get fired, or not fired, laid off. I'm going to lose my income. Which route do I go? Do I go the business route or do I go the school route? I decided to take a risk. It was the harder choice to make. The school route would have been the safer route. And I wanted to go to school in business or start a business, learn the hard way, and also investing and do all that. I chose the business. Turns out, in my business was a startup company in the tech world where I applied for a patent on on a smart breaker. Right, I applied a patent on smart breaker, and that idea alone could create tons of products. I pitched it to a university. They loved the idea. I was one out of 20 people who won, and I got access to a business mentorship, which is basically the same thing I was going to pay with my own money for 2 years as an MBA. Turns out I got a smaller version of an MBA within a summer for free because I had an idea of a business. I didn't have a business yet, guys. I wasn't making money. I was alone. All I had was a logo and an idea that I wrote a report on and apply a patent in the States for. That's what I'm applying for the patent. I didn't even get the patent yet. All I had was the idea. And then turns out the government was funding the university to go find entrepreneurs with ideas so that you could guide them on how to do it, teach them on how to do it, giving them free information, the same information that I would have to pay close to $10,000, $20,000 a year to get. And why do the government is willing to do that, giving $20,000 worth of education for free? Because if my idea becomes a company, I can hire people and they can say, we created jobs, vote us more. My job would have been so much simpler if I knew that from the beginning. If I knew that from the beginning, I would not struggle to decide where to go. But I didn't know. And I learned it the hard way, right? And thank God I made the good choice. Because everything I know now was because I made that choice to go in business. If I had gone to school, I don't know where I would be today. But with that said, guys, we have someone in the panel that I want to introduce. You've known him. He's been on the chat. Shout out to you, Mr. Intentional Millionaire. How are you doing?
What's going on, Mr. Wealth Engineering?
Very
JC
good.
is in the house.
Very good, sir. Very good. Very quickly, I want to go on this and shout out, sorry to make you wait. I wanted to finish
Oh no,
at
you fine.
yeah.
I
I wanted to
respect I respect you were dropping some good jewels, so no,
thank you.
no
Thank you very
worries.
much. And Cashflow Hunter. Currently in Canada, they are willing to pay people to study and fill in demand. Yes, they want more employment, more tax. Cashflow Hunter has a problem with tax, man. It's funny to read his comments. But the intentional millionaire, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. What about yourself?
I'm doing very good. You're always looking healthy. You're looking young, looking like you
Oh
just come
man.
out of the gym. So if I were to ask you, do you know your passion?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So if whatever you want to share with us, what would be your passions?
My passion would be helping people.
Passionate about helping people. All right. Well, I mean I mean that's a
Well,
kind of a
see,
little bit cheesy, you know. Of
when you're
course.
dealing with,
But is there like, okay, let's find it the other way. Like, is there any, like, I remember last time we talked about, you said you're passionate about collectibles, right?
right.
Perfect, perfect. Is there
See, you
anything
gotta.
like,
I was just about to say you got to specify what do you mean passion? Is you talking about internal or external?
interesting, very good point. Well, let's start with internal.
Okay, internal helping people.
All right.
External collectibles. Um, I do got a PlayStation 5, but I never had time to play it.
I guess you're not passionate about
um,
it.
but I am. I'm a Final Fantasy 7
Okay.
geek. I really enjoy Final Fantasy. Anything else that has Final Fantasy 7 in it, I'm gonna buy it, even if I don't
Really,
get
eh?
a chance to play it.
Sheesh.
um,
And that goes back. Oh wow, man! I remember even in Haiti, I was watching like Final Fantasy games. I even played a couple of them already.
mhm.
But man, you're still buying it. That's dedication right there. Anything else?
And I also enjoy learning. That's always a
Reading
thing for
books.
me. Books,
Mm.
just anything that I don't really know. I mean, I started learning how to do some gardening a little bit over the past couple months. Um, yeah, so
So the exercise I wanted to do today was basically identifying couple passions you have and find ways to monetize it. All right.
mhm.
And I like to practice my creativity like that. So again, I don't know if you're going to do it or not, but I'm just going to throw it out there and you tell
Okay,
me
go
what you
for it.
think. Right?
I say go for it.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think of this idea right here? All right. So this collectibles, right?
Mhm.
You said Final Fantasy 7,
Mhm.
and then you said reading books.
That's
So
correct.
what if you were like doing again, we're going to use YouTube as a way to monetize, and then imagine a channel where you playing a video game like Final Fantasy 7 and
Mhm.
then reviewing the collectibles or a book that you read. Or it could be two channels where you're reviewing only books and you're reviewing only collectibles. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea.
Right? Because
Mhm.
that way you would apply definitely, you would definitely find the time now to
Right.
to play the games that you want, because now you have more than one incentive. Your it's not just what you're going to gain out of it, it's also what other people are going to gain. And
That's
you also
correct.
mentioned you wanted to help people. So if you were doing like and it's actually a very interesting channel on Twitch. On Twitch, this is basically what people do. They
Mhm.
do play games and they talk about any subject. So imagine you were talking about collectibles, like the ins and outs of how to find the good ones, where to go, and you're
Mhm.
doing that as you're talking, as you're playing a game, right?
Right.
So that could be a good idea, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. Whenever I hear people with passion and purpose, I'm like, guess what? And then you could evolve that idea even more. You start with YouTube or Twitch or both, right? With a
Mhm.
platform like StreamYard, you can do both at the same time. Then maybe later you decide to do an ebook, like things you need to know,
Mhm.
quick guides to finding the best collectibles, right? What the
Mhm.
do's and don'ts, how to find a real from a fake, etc. You make an ebook on that, you sell it for $5, put that in your link on your
Mhm.
YouTube channel, right? Then you can go more in that. You can make a shirt. I
Right.
love collectibles. Then you put that in your, and now every video you make becomes a funnel to your business, right?
Right.
In business, you need to expose to as many people as possible.
Mhm.
If you have 10,000 people that you put that business in front of them, maybe 1,000 will click on it and watch it, and maybe 10 of them or 100 will watch all the way through, and 10 will buy, right?
Right.
And then that's a business. It has a funnel, you have a product, you have a uniqueness in you, and
Mhm.
there you go. You monetize your passion. What do you think
Mhm.
about that?
I think that's a great idea. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not something I'm going to do, but
I mean you're a millionaire already.
right. But I think it's a great idea because I think the key is what you're really, pushing is for people to start really leveraging their passion.
Mm,
Really getting a chance to, if you're doing it in the way, why not get a 2 for 1 or a 3 for 1? And that's something that I truly 100% believe in. If you're going to do it anyway and you can get the biggest benefit from it, why not maximize on it? Now, for me, the reason why I'm not even going to do that, because like I said, I buy Final Fantasy, but I just don't have time to even play it. So, that's kind of, and plus two, because I have so much other stuff going on that I really don't have the time. And then I don't, I've been still struggling about writing a book, and I just ain't got around to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
What is your book going to be about? I mean, is that a secret, or I mean, it's
no,
okay if
it
you
was
don't want to
just,
mention.
so I was going to do one about just my life.
Okay.
Um, and just kind of give people real insight on, it doesn't really matter where you start. I don't think I'm anything unique per se. I don't think what I, my journey and my walk was basically anybody can kind of do. It's
Mm,
just the determination and the discipline.
exactly. And
So that's kind of
would you
really,
say would you say in your road to the $1 million you're passionate?
yes, I was passionate and I was consistent and I was obsessed.
Mm,
See, and most people think of a session as a bad thing, but a session just means that you don't lose focus,
mm.
to me.
I,
But some too many
I love
times
I love it. That's exactly
we
what it
take
is.
the word assess and associate it with something, a bad outcome. But to me, it was a great outcome because you got to always have. For me, I'm still foundation based, so you got to have a foundation that, regardless of everything that happened, is always something you can fall back to. So my
Hmm.
foundation was my obsession on, I wanted to do something that wasn't done, especially in my family. Um, and just really sell out to it and be consistent because it's a
Hmm.
time thing. The price was, you got to pay the price up front before you get the result.
Facts, facts. I mean,
So,
you said so much there. First, you did not lose focus, and then you had a picture. It wasn't you wanted to be the first in your family to do it, and you were obsessed with that idea.
mhm,
That was the fuel that was keeping giving you that focus, where most people would have, because it's not easy. It is simple to build wealth in a sense that it's not like you have to do the root square of study like calculus 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that complex. You don't need a PhD. Shout out to Lash's journey. Lash's journey. Sometimes she's on the chat, and for those who don't know, guys, she was able to retire from a minimum income job, like working at Walmart, and
mhm,
still building a real estate empire working at
mhm,
Walmart. I have a course, one video in my course, and I claim, and I actually show it on how to do it. But people, when I say it, people don't believe me. How to retire in 10 years or less with a McDonald's job. That's the title of the video in my course.
mhm,
After I taught all the principles and all the vehicles on how to achieve wealth. And then the last video of that chapter is called How to Retire in 10 Years or Less with a McDonald's Job. So
mhm,
you don't need a PhD, guys, to build wealth. But as you mentioned, shout out to you for mentioning that, Tim. You had the discipline. And it's not easy when everyone in your surrounding is doing one thing. You know it feels great to go to the bar and go to with friends and eat the
yep,
best food possible,
yep,
buy the best car, and having everyone looking at your rims and then giving you that acknowledgement, right? That feels great sometime in that. And you're going to have to deny all that to focus on your portfolio, as you say, saving every dollar at the time until you make it to the million.
mhm,
That is a level of dedication that is way above average. And that's why people that are way above average are very successful. So shout out to you for having the passion and use that as a way to fuel your goal and to get to your goal. Now the challenge would be, now that you have achieved that major life goal that most people don't get to achieve and you achieve it very young, how do you fuel that same drive, that same energy into a different passion that can keeps you going?
So my new passion is, so I was told, since I don't have any kids and I'm not married, and I want to leave legacy. So
Mm.
my new passion became, because I heard from Patrick David Beck,
Patrick,
um
yeah, Patrick Bet David.
3 ways to create legacy, right? For a man. Write a
Yeah.
book, have
Oh,
offspring, or plant a tree. I
I guess
haven't
I'll do
done
all three.
neither one of the 3. So I figured the next level for me was to give back and do a data dump of what I done.
Yeah. And now the modern day of doing writing books is basically YouTube. Basically,
Right,
a lot of writers, they also have YouTube channels to promote their
right.
book, and it's a great combo. So shout out to you on that. Definitely encourage you to. At some point, I hope that you go through the process so that I can consult to you, because at some point I will write a book too. I want to talk about how basically I overcome my what people call my mental disease
Mhm.
to find my passion and make it into a purpose and be successful. So, but I got to be successful first. And to me, I'm not successful until I hit the 10 million.
Right. And that's one of the things though, but getting back to your original topic, I think that's what people gotta, gotta identify, what passion or what thing that they really willing to do to share, and then also turn it into something that they can benefit from for a 2 for 1 perspective.
Mm,
Um, and here's the reason why that's important is because even if you have a passion and you don't monetize it, the thing about a passion and then doing it just in spite of doing it is you want to look at how you can get a twofold, meaning an internal satisfaction, but also an outward satisfaction. Because too many times we only think about, for me, this is what I see is we too many times you see the greatest people and the most successful people when they do things, they only don't think about themselves. They think holistic.
hmm
They think about not only how my decision is going to affect me, but also how can the community or the group as a whole benefit.
mm.
And so when you think about your passion, it's okay to have a self-fulfilling passion, but what about the people around you? So I say if you're gonna do a passion, you're gonna monetize it. Just make sure that it's something that's self-fulfilling for not only yourself but people around you, because you get an even bigger joy helping fulfill other people.
Honestly, that's exactly what wealth engineering is for me.
Yeah.
Again, I started wealth engineering is my 14th business. 14
Mhm.
business. But it's the only one. It's the only business that helped me make $2,000.
Right, right, right.
Right? It's the first business that I've done where I reached $2,000.
Mhm,
I made $1,000 like really hustling on my I think 11th business.
mhm.
But yeah, like it was the first one and that I made, and now this year I've made 10,000 just with wealth engineering, which is not much for business, but for me
It is a lot for
it's
business.
a
Most
huge
business
goal.
fail in 5 years. So that's a lot.
Exactly, and it doesn't mean next year I'll make 10,000, right?
Right,
But just the fact that I can achieve that, to me, is, and that's the only business also that I'm lasted more than a year.
right.
After 14 times, wealth engineering is the only business that I've done that lasted more than a year. And just like you mentioned, the ideas I was looking, I have tons of ideas, big ideas. Again, it always comes down to execution. It's never easy for me to execute those ideas. So I always try to find simple ways to start business
Mhm.
and get to the process first, and then use that to go with the big ideas.
Right,
Think big, start small. Trust me, guys. When I say things, I leave them. I did think big and started big, and hurt myself bad on the way. So and you will understand the effects of me being hurt from thinking too big and acting towards those big ideas too early on. That affected my credit. So we're going to talk about credit on Sunday. I'm going to invite you know who. I'm trying to keep it a secret, but you know who, right?
Mhm,
We had a very. If you want to know who, guys, go check the Intentional Millionaire. He had an interview with a great lady that would talk about credit. So it's the same. It's the same person.
mhm.
All right, so that's going to encourage people to go on your channel and make sure you hit the like button. But yes, so yes, I'm going to share with you guys my credit with you guys, and it's not good. It's not great. Why? Because it's actually better than it was 2 years ago. But on my way up, guys, on my way to go hard, go find your passion, like go hard. I hurt myself really bad because I was thinking too big and I was acting towards those big ideas. Think big, start small. So the wealth engineering was really after a long time of not doing anything, working on the job market, and then starting to go back again. I was very passionate about business and passionate about searching cryptocurrencies, not sleeping, like spending hours and hours. And I had a problem where I couldn't organize because I'm as a bipolar. One of the side effect is being disorganized. Like
Mhm,
I can't focus. It's very hard for me to focus on one thing. I'm getting this inflow of information, and it hurts me because I can't organize it. So I started a Discord channel just for me, and
mhm,
I put channels, and then I would put this information. And whenever I need back to look back those information, I typed on the keyboard and the search bar, and then I have all this information lined up, and it helps me organize it. So that was great. And I'm
mhm.
like, hey, I could do and at the same time my friends were asking me about cryptocurrencies. And then I'm like, I'm not just going to teach you about cryptocurrencies. I gotta show you of macroeconomy, how to build wealth, and then cryptocurrencies. So I'm like, I'll put all that in a course. And that was the creation of wealth engineering. That
Right.
was the creation of wealth engineering. Is the name itself is two things that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about engineering, and I'm passionate about wealth. Put that together, wealth
With
engineering.
engineering.
And then well, I noticed that not many people had it on YouTube. There was a couple business that had it, but I could get away with getting a domain, wealthengineering.ca. So I went for it. And then yes, I decided to create a community on Discord. At first it was on Facebook. It was a community on Facebook. Shout out to my OGs that were on the Facebook first, and then
Mhm,
on the Discord. But it was the same thing. And then that's how I created it. So I definitely understand. You can definitely find ways to passion, and it doesn't necessarily have to be monetized. Even if you don't monetize it, do it for the selfless as well. Do it for other people,
mhm.
because now all this information had value. And one of the things, and I'll pass it along to you, but one of the things you were mentioning that I like is, even if it's not like when we talk about monetize, we think about money, we think about currency. But even if it's not monetized, it doesn't mean it has no value,
Right,
right?
right.
Sometimes the value does not necessarily derive from the money, but from the time it saves you, or from the benefit you get from the happiness, the joy that it gives you, right?
Mhm.
If you're playing a game, it gives you that joy. That fuels you. That's a reason to live. That's a reason to wake up the next day, right?
Right.
And you may take it for granted if you're young, but look at the baby boomers that are retiring, guys. It is not pleasant when they retire and they're deriving the sense of living from their job, and you cut the job, they have no reason to live,
Right.
right? So it's not don't take it for granted, guys. Same thing for athletes. That that starts a spiral for them, and many of them end up being poor. A lot of them goes in drinking drugs, because they're not attached. Their foundation has been removed. If
Right.
their body does not sustain anymore, they cannot compete anymore at the same level. They were regarded as the success of society, what everyone tried to be, right? And all of a sudden, within 15, 20 years, still young, they're back at beginning. They have, if they're not passionate and they don't put their passion into something, even if it's not monetized, at this point, these guys have money. So they don't necessarily need to monetize their passion. But if they have a passion that they can apply it to, that gives them that reason to live, that reason to wake up the next day. And that is valuable because with your experience, with your time, you can pass it to your legacy. You can teach your legacy as you were telling. And any points on that, Tim?
No, I think you did a great summary on it. I think one of the key things I heard you say is, which is key, is you didn't let, your own individual cons stop you from starting wealth engineering. Because you was passionate enough about it, you still moved through and you found ways to maneuver through regardless. And I think that's key, because I think that's a key point to point out, because some people don't want to start really even, come to the forefront with their passion, because they may feel like they may have some deficiency, or they may feel like they don't know where to start, or they may feel like it may not be for them. And that's why it's so critical. That point is so critical, because it just allows you to anyone to know you can start wherever you need to start. See, because it's not about the journey, it's about getting there.
Mm,
The journey is different for everyone. Everyone has a different journey, but the end result is the same. And I
absolutely.
think that's what people, when you think about your passion, that's something that you really got to just sit down and just really identify with. Not all the stuff on why not, but all the stuff on why you should.
Mm. I'm going to read a couple chat here. I see some interesting question, but I want you to think about that question before we jump in.
Hmm.
What would be your ways and what would be your recommendation to help people identify their passions? So I'm going to ask you that later, but let me just go over some chat very quickly. Shout out to you, Wally. Nice to see you here. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming here and supporting, guys.
Wally in the house.
Make sure you hit the like button, guys. Um, Peter M. Thank you. Wait, let me first. I'll get back to you on this because this is deep. This is deep. But Natasha, shout out to you. If wealth engineering is two passions, my channel would be called Sleepy Calisthenics.
Yeah.
Hey, go do a search on Google. Is there any content creator making something like this? You might think it's a joke, but hey, maybe there is something to it.
Hmm.
I swear to you guys, I saw a channel where someone was going live and they were sleeping. All right. And you had 100 people watching them sleeping.
Yeah. You'd be
So hey,
surprised what people do, because people, that's the thing, you don't never know, because people have so many different interests, nothing is alike.
yes. So hey, I'm sure we can find ways to monetize that if you want to. But man, thank you for mentioning that. Well done, Jerry, Natasha, Vincent, and Peter Investor M. Oh man, you got two comments right here. I want to go on in one by one. But who wealth is engineered
Yeah.
in the making. That is deep. That is so insightful. Thank you for this comment, man. That should be on a shirt, man. We're talking about
Listen,
monetizing it.
you should make that the motto.
Hey, it's Peter M. Peter M. Tune in, all right? Tune in on when we do. I don't know when I'm going to hit 1K, but whenever I do, I'll make a stream and we'll call it a 1K celebration. Tune in, all right? I think I'm having an idea already. Wait, but man, whoo, this is powerful, my friend. This is powerful. Thank you for this comment. All right. And the second comment I wanted JC's on something. So do you mean purpose over passion? Hmm. Now let me tackle this, and if you want, you can. If you have something you want to say about it, Tim, you can mention it, and then we'll go back to the question I asked you earlier. But Peter Investor M, very good question. Man, you always ask good questions. One day I want you to call in because we need to have discussion together, man. This is you always have deep. Insightful question. For me, all right. For me, I'm not going to say for everyone because this is a question for that can be broad, but for me, I believe it should be purpose over passion. Now, it does not mean purpose is opposite to passion. Actually, to if you find your purpose, you will know that it's directly correlated with your passion.
Yep. I was gonna
Your
say it's gonna be
purpose,
one and the same.
your purpose is a direct correlation with your to find your purpose. The first step of finding your purpose is to know your passion and to know your passion and to accept your passion, right? You gotta accept it because many people know it, but some of them they don't really accept it.
Mhm.
You gotta embrace it, right? Many people don't embrace it. They like it. They could be very talented in something. Because they're talented in something, they develop a passion for it. And then when it's time for them to really embrace it, they don't, right?
Right.
That person will not find their purpose.
Right.
That person will not find their purpose. If you know your passion, it's time for you to embrace it. You don't, you're going to get stuck there in your journey to find your purpose. So for me, in my journey and how I had to find my purpose, first thing was finding my passion. And it's not just me. My own brother, I've it was one of the greatest pride in my life to have mentored my brother for years and then to be in a situation where I was depressed and my brother was mentoring me. The fact that my brother was able to mentor me in anything was a great pride for me.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that. But then the what he mentored me on was guiding me on finding my own purpose. And we're talking about my little brother. He had gone through the process before I did, went on depression. His purpose got him out of depression. And then when I was in depression, which was a lot severe than my brother had, he was ready for me. He was able to guide me on how to do it. It took me 3 years with his guidance to find my purpose. But he knew my passion because he observed me throughout my entire life. So there is some things that I know about myself, and there's something that he knows about me that I didn't realize until he mentioned it to me. But then even after I knew my passion, it took me 3 years, right? 2.5 years, basically, to find my purpose. And it was also as I was going through another depression, I find it. So for me, it's purpose over passion because your passion is for you. I call it your selfish desires. I'm not saying selfish as a bad word, but hey, let's be honest, it's for you. Purpose is your selfless desires. So purpose is applying your selfish desires in the pursuit of the selfness desires. It's a mixing of both. It's applying your strengths to the service of the community. So for me, I'm always going to choose purpose over passion. And this is what I've noticed too. I know I'm ranting a lot, sorry, but I wanted to do very quick. This is what I've noticed too. Passion, it's kind of like a gasoline. Passion is very high intensity in the beginning, but over time, it loses its potency and it's not as efficient. Purpose is not necessarily the strong energy, but it's consistent. It's the marathon. It's going to stay consistent. And you might need to switch from the fuel derived from passion at the beginning, but to stay in the game, you're going to need that purpose, right? Because that's the game, that's the diesel that's going to last you longer versus the jet fuel that will give you that rocket power, but it will evaporate very fast. And that's what I've noticed. Every time I started the business out of passion, I did so much work in the first 3 months. I didn't mention 3 months earlier for no reason. After 3 months, when things get rough, then I put all my energy in, my fatigues comes in, burned out. And then that's when the business really need you, but you're burnt out. Versus purpose, same thing happened, but I have an extra source of energy that comes from people that I'm supporting. When things I'm burnt out, I don't want to do it on my own. I don't want to do it anymore. And then I get a comment of someone saying, "Hey, you helped me today. Thank you." That fuels me, my passion again. And I have that rocket again. That's what I've noticed in my journey so far. Because I applied the same passion, but not just for me, for other people, I can also use that as a fuel to drive me forward and get me to the goal. And that's how that's why wealth engineering is the only business out of 14 businesses that I was able to last a year and a half and still making money out of it. I'm not making life-changing money. I'm not making any money that can replace my job, but to me, it's a big accomplishment. Spent years trying to get to that step. Never was able to. And the only thing that keeps me moving is that fuel that other people need what I have to share. I can save someone if someone's really apply what I'm teaching them. That can be the starting points for them changing their entire life, and that will be a great source of satisfaction for me. That's the selfish part of it. The selfless part of it is doing it because I like to help people, and then they will take value from it that can help the community, right? So that's that. To answer your question, that's what I have to say about it. Any point you wanted to add before we move to the question, Tim?
No, I think you covered that dead on. I think you covered that dead on. I
Thank you
think
very much.
the key was passion is individual, but purpose it goes back to service and others. Because your purpose is what allow you go to the next state, which is being significant.
Mm, absolutely, absolutely, I agree. Now, any advice you would have to anyone, basically, what would you tell them about guides, things that they can do to help them find their passion?
So what a person can do to find their passion is think about back when before they had responsibilities and became an adult. Think about the things that they was excited about, the things that they done naturally. Some for some people, if your parents still around, talk to your parents and ask them what was the things you done and you was consistent and you could just sit there as a child by yourself and just do over and over. See, those are the things that's normally people's passion, but because life happened, we shy away from the things that we really used to get so excited about. And then we start to take on other people's passion because we lose our own. So I say go back to that moment, when you was a adolescent or you was a child and those type things that you got excited about because those are the type of things normally that can allow you to tap back into your true passion. That would be my recommendation.
Man, dropping games. Man, I think that the deep part I think you mentioned here is we lose our passions, we're looking for others, people with passion. That is so true. That is so true. And especially as we grow, that's something that you notice as you grow older, right? As you grow
Mhm.
older, you get to see how the world works. Sometimes when you try to find a role model, you're trying to adopt what they are. And a lot of times you might lose your own passion, what keeps you excited in the
Yeah.
pursuit of what you believe is the right thing to do, that's going to give you to the next step. But I think the recipe is to learn from these role model and applying your own passion to get you there, to be unique, to make it
Mhm.
your own. and
Yeah.
and yes, it's funny because when I was very my first role model was
Mhm.
Michael Jordan. And I was learning, I taught myself how to play basketball and by watching Michael Jordan. And we did not have any VCR. I had to wait for the playoffs. That's the only way, right? That's the only way, because around the playoffs, I was out of school, so I could stay later to watch TV. And then that's
Mhm.
the only time I had. And everything I have was I was recording it mentally and then go in the court and apply it. Right. That was my my role model and my mentor in a way, not necessarily mentor, but the guide I had to teach me basketball. But I was also passionate about the anime. And then one of the anime I was watching at the same time was called it's called Battle Side the Slasher. It's a Japanese anime. Back in the days, I used to love anime because it used to be it always derived from the philosophy. It looks like a comic, but it always derived from a philosophy that is teaching you something about life. And to me, that was so like so valuable because I'm watching it, I'm having fun, I'm watching the anime, but at the same time, I'm also watching like learning in life. But yeah, I'll but all that to say, I found a technique. I created a technique, a basketball move
Mhm.
where the battle side, the slasher, he has this one technique. Only him can do it, where he's wipe his sword in a different way that no one can block, no one can stop it. So I watched Michael Jordan, I watched how he shoots, and I learned. I got the battle side of slasher, and I mixed the two, and I became, I guess, JC the slasher. Or I I used to call myself MJ back then because my last name starts with an M and my first name starts with a J. So I
Mhm.
mixed it. I'm MJ, but I call myself MJ the Slasher. That was my basketball name. And back then my knee were good. And whenever I would pull that move, I could not be stopped. Right? I could not
Mhm.
be stopped. I was a left-handed, so I always go on the left and jump like Michael Jordan. And whenever I jump, not my accuracy in the mid range was 7 out of 10 in the mid range. But again, instead of losing myself only on Michael Jordan, which I started doing, I decided to create something unique. And me, I love branding so much that yeah, I couldn't just bear the idea of just copying someone like word for word. I had to add my own. But thank you, Tim, very much for dropping this. Thank you. Drop a lot of knowledge here, guys. Take notes, man. Take notes. I think you hear, and he's older than me. He can see it on a different perspective. Thank you for sharing this knowledge here. I have other comments to read, but if you have to go or anything, let me know. But
Yeah, I gotta get ready to head out, but I wanted just to drop in just to kind of share because when I get some free time, I always want to kind of jump on the panel just to share because I think if I can give anything that kind of help, I always want to try to give something to help out. So I think,
well,
but
thank you very much. I think you help
mhm,
in many ways. You help with your own passion, sharing your
mhm,
own passion, and how random ideas on how it could be turned into like monetizing.
mhm,
Understand that it's not just about the money, but the value, and yes, things that you can do. Looking back from everything you mentioned as a baby, as a kid, ask your parents. They can tell you things that you may not be aware. For me, it was my brother, but you can
mhm,
also ask your parents too. They will me, I'm looking at things in my baby right now. He's 1 year old, that I'm taking notes mentally because I know he's
yep,
going to need to know that when he's older to help him find his passion. So
yep.
thank you very much for sharing this, and hope to see you again. But I'll finish watching a video with Mr. Stew tonight.
Okay, I got some more coming, so we got some good stuff coming.
Oh, all right, awesome. Very great discussion
All
and
right,
great
thank you,
comment.
Wealth Engineering, and everybody in the chat. Please share because we need to get Wealth Engineering to 1,000 subs, and then after that, 2,000. Let's do
Yes.
it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we'll stay in touch.
All right.
All right. All right, guys. All right. Let me go over the comments. But thank you. It was great knowledge right here. I like that he was able to share his passion. And notice, how, guys, how I did it. I hear the passion. Sometimes some of them are unrelated, like Final Fantasy 7, gaming versus like collectibles or writing books. Totally unrelated, but very quickly my mind can find a way to make money out of that. Like so, it's a skill that somehow I developed by studying business and researching about different ways to monetize my own business that I don't know, and I'm very creative. So it's a skill that I'm kind of proud about it. And guess what? Guess how I can monetize this on scale? I'm passionate about it. I'll do it for free, but this is how I can monetize it. I can start a consulting company where I'm helping people um, looking for ways to start business. They don't know what to do, and basically I throw them ideas. I basically design a business strategy based on their own passion, right, and help them find their purpose. That's like, to me, that would be a great, the best consulting business I could ever do. So again, that's what I'm saying, guys. Use know your strengths and find ways to monetize that. Let me go over the comments because I see you guys are being active. Thank you for being active on the chat. Natasha, Vincent. Yes, yes, we went over that. Oh, we went over that too. I can get paid to sleep. Sli- that's literally a job, by the way. That's literally a job. We can get paid to sleep. There was a time if you were late. I'm lazy, by the way. You may not realize this, but I'm actually very lazy. I'm very lazy. I love making money in my sleep. That to me, that's what started. That was the reason why I started investing because I realized you could make money in your sleep. I'm like, really? But there are some jobs out there. They want to test a mattress, and then yeah, they before they reach it on the public, they need to test it out. So they can you can do it two ways. Either they send it to your place for a couple months so that you can do a long study, or you literally go in the store, you sleep for 2 hours, and they pay you for that. So check into that if you want to monetize your sleep passion. All right. Shout out to you, Peter Investor M. I will tune in for 1K. Yes, man, tune in. I think I'm planning of something creative. Again, I love applying my creativity in ways. I'm thinking of something creative, but what you mentioned here, man, I think we'll do something with that. We'll do something with that, and I want you here to see it. Wait, I gotta see this comment again. This is this was whew. If you guys are just joining in, this is the comment he put earlier. Wealth is engineered in the making. Mm, this is deep, my friend. This is deep. All right, all right. Let's see all the comments. I want to acknowledge all of you guys. Let me see. Did I miss any? Aaron B, your passion should involve your purpose. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. It's if you want to get the purpose, you'd have to have it. I haven't met anyone who had their purpose that didn't had not have clear, very clear passion. Like they didn't even need to tell you their passion. You would just see it based on their action. Anyone that I've studied, because that was the other thing I did when I was trying to find my own purpose. I study people who found their purpose, understand what they were doing, what they were saying, and it was clear. It was clear every single one of them. They were operating on a level and the energy of their own passion. Passion is the fuel your purpose. Yes, purpose, vision. Vision is part of your purpose. But yeah, I agree. Definitely. Rockets, fuels. No worries. Shout out to you, Aaron B. Thank you for coming here. Um, some people want to chase the bag and not their passion, therefore they have no purpose from the beginning because eventually it will end. Yes, it's not an easy thing to deal with, especially if you spend a lot of time chasing the bag outside of your passion, right? Sometimes people force themselves to be passionate about their job because that's what they do, but they don't really like it, right? They don't even know what they like, and they never even spend the time to work on themselves to figure out what they like. It's worse when they actually know what they like and they choose not to do it and focus only on one thing to chase for the bag. That kills your soul. If there's something that feels wrong, and it just over time it just gets worse and worse until you deal with it, right? So it's not a healthy way to live. So yes, yes, great point there. Oh man, you're dropping gems. Doctors earns a lot of money, so people want to pursue that career, but the wrong thing. Money and not their passion. Great doctors, man, great doctors are the ones who would do it for free. Shout out to my auntie. She's one of them. Do it for free. She don't want to retire because that's her passion. She find a way. She understood that very early in her life. Study to be a doctor, became a doctor, and guys, she doesn't want to retire. And worse, in my mom family, guys, they look like 25, 30 years younger than their age. So and she not only she doesn't look her age, she's full of energy. She's operating in her passion, using the passion as fuel. That keeps you young. That keeps you young, man. So shout out to her, man. She's definitely an example of someone who's doing it more on the passion versus money. But many people study doctors, not because that's what they wanted to do, because their parents wanted them to do it, and they also wanted to have to do a job that was paying. And you can see the difference. You can see the difference the minute you walk in the door. Who is doing it for passion? Who's doing it for money? Right? And that comes with an ethical issue as well, because sometimes they might give you a pill that may not necessarily be the best, but it's the one that gives them the more money. If they promote a certain like pharmaceutical products that compensate them better, if they are in it for the money, that's what they'll do. And who cares what happens to you, right? So passion equal what's generated. Purpose equal what's targeted. I would have to sleep on this one. I don't think I don't agree nor disagree. I think it's too it's too kind of like limiting. Like it's too specific. It's part of it, right? I think purpose can be generated. That's what I'm saying. It's too specific. Like it's trying to kind of like putting like the ocean, into a box, right? So that's why I have to sleep on it. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but hey, sometimes that's what I do, man. I meditate on single product philosophy. I love philosophy, by the way. So I'm going to think about that because that's deep. Man, you're an insightful. I don't know if you're a brother or anyone else, but you're an insightful guy. Shout out to you, man. You often need money to get closer to your passion. Um, a lot of passions are like that, yes. Easily, yeah. And the government. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't even look at the name, and as soon as I see the government, I'm like, this is cash flow hunter, man. Cash flow hunter, and the government is on its way to slow you down. Hey, today I just signed land. I just signed land on the Cayman Island, man. You wanna be my neighbor? You wanna be my neighbor, my friend? They got some cheap lands out there, man. 60K, no deposit, bro. But man, let's do it. Let's do it. Some beautiful lands looking at the ocean, Cayman Island. It's already worth 15K more on the market. I got it below market value. So, hey, man, I was looking all year, man, for buying a land. I wanted to do it in Quebec. And at first, I was looking into the Caribbean. I was looking in Haiti. I was looking Puerto Rico. But finally, I think everything just lined up with the Cayman for me. And I end up choosing it there. So hopefully, I don't know what the future will hold me with this land. I might sell it for profit. I might build a house on it one day. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, first today, I guess I'm a first time in my life I own. I actually own the real estate as opposed to wholesaling the real estate. But yeah, shout out to crypto, man. Shout out to crypto. But thank you. All right, all right. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Thank you, team. Thank you. Um, I had more questions for him, but the next time maybe I'll ask him. 1K is on its way. Thank you very much. And what did I say, man? What did I say, my friend? I said tune in. I said tune in for 1K, man. That's all I said, right? Tune in, man. That's all I said. You might want to. Anyway, tune in, guys. Tune in. Kudos to the land acquisition. Just thank you very much. Thank you. And but me, honestly, I don't even feel happy about it because I didn't pay all of it. Like I don't if to me if it's not all of it paid, I feel like I don't really own it. So everyone's saying thank you, and I'm like, but my goal is to end up paying it this year. I want to pay it one shot this year, done with it, and then yes, I can truly say I own the land. But man, I have some crypto plays right now. If they land exactly how I predict they will land by June, I should be good. I should be good to. I have two goals next year: finish paying my land, and then also upgrade to the white icy white card. We'll talk about the icy white card on Sunday because we're going to talk about credit card. These are my two goals this year. I mean, I have many goals, but my next year is, yeah, I wanna get the icy white crypto.com card. That means I need to lock in $40,000, guys. $40,000 just sitting here staking 10%, right? So that's going to be some good money. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I think I'm going to do something where I'm going to stake my icy white card, and then all the money that I get from the staking rewards, I'm going to pay a vacation for my family. I think I'm going to start something like that. Thinking about it, because right now I just, every time I get it every week, I just spend it somewhere else. But I might leave it for, it's good, $4,000. That's a good fund for a vacation for your family once a year. So I might do it that way. So anyway, that's my goal this year, man. Icy white crypto card. All right, guys, we've been going on for 2 hours and 24 minutes. Let me tackle this question here. You got your land in the Cayman, brother? Yes, yes. This year, I wanted to travel to go see it, but some challenge with regulation here. Also, with the fact that I had COVID, it would have been harder for me to test negative. And there's a bunch of other things, like I also lost my passport in the midst of having COVID, cleaning the house. Uh, yeah, my passport got lost. So I gotta redo that, and I don't think I would have redone it in time. I just end up buying it without seeing it, but I'm going to go see it sometime this year. So yeah, but so far, man, it's a great land. And so I wanted to have a land. The reason why it took me so long is because I didn't want to have a land just on a beach. I wanted to be on a land on the top of a hill. For some reason, I fear water, and I don't want to have a inundation situation. And if one day there is like a, especially in the Caribbean, you have to worry about cyclone, like hurricanes. So you don't. I don't want to have one day the sea just come and like wash my investment. I think I put my entire life in it, so I wanted to see something on top of a hill. And this land here, they're doing like this developer, real estate developer. They've been there for a good 15 years, and they're going to create luxury real estate on this land, and it's on top of a mountain. Like, it's a flat mountain, but it's oversee the water, and it's 20 feet high at least. So yeah, it took me a while to find that, and then yeah, so far I had great customer service. They have a concierge for anyone's outside the country to walk them, show them visiting the country. It's like a very small island. So it's not the main Cayman Island. There is three different islands in the Cayman area. So it's the third one. So the main Cayman Island is fully developed, right? It's full. It's like England in the Caribbean, but there is the third one. The third one is still largely empty, and now, especially with the remote economy starting, there's a lot of demand for places that are hot, right? Hot weather, Caribbean, good living. You have a good standard of living, so that's raising the value. And then you have real estate projects booming in the area. So all this entire area, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Cayman Island, all of them are booming. So just from an investment perspective alone, it's a good investment to make. But me, I hope to make a land, like a house on it one day, so that that could be a vacation home, especially with the um, remote lifestyle. I could probably do spend my winters there and work remotely here in Canada, right? So shout out to the metaverse. The metaverse will make all this possible. Well, we can already make this possible with Zoom, right? So, like, I spent 3 months. I spent the first 6 months of my job this year working at home. Never went to the office. So, brave new world that we're heading. And I don't have to be in Canada to access the internet. So, maybe you should think about it too, guys. As I mentioned in the course, different ways to get to the wealth. Real estate is a way to keep money, and I love putting my profit from cryptocurrencies to real estate. I find this is a better way because I get those profits way faster on the cryptocurrencies than I would in real estate, and then use real estate to keep that money that slowly appreciate over time. But in lands like this, in project like this, a land like 60K a land, I think it's like 10,000 square feet. So I don't know, man. It might not stay like that forever because on the main island, main Cayman Island is very expensive to buy any property there because it's fully developed. But just like we were mentioning early, whenever you take a risk and you are part of the early ones, high risk, high rewards. I'm only risking 60K, but I could build a house that is worth 500,000 on it, and that could appreciate over time as more people are looking for destinations to go in the Caribbean as they're going to work remotely. I could Airbnb it when I'm not here, and I could basically live in it because it's my own in the winters and real estate having cash flow value investing. You have the cash flow coming in monthly. You have the value appreciation over time. So that's why I look for international real estate in areas that are that have good areas that I want that wants to develop, and not necessarily in the states or Canada because these markets are way over market. Like Montreal is getting there, but Toronto, Vancouver, houses are too overvalued there. Too overvalued there. So that's why I like to get the most bang for my buck. That's the type of investor I am. And to me, I prefer to go elsewhere to go get it. And that won't be my only international investment. That's just my first one. Anyway, guys, let's see more comments. You don't want you don't want that water to come blow your house away. Lots of crazy weather. Excellent house on top of the hill. Yeah, at least 20 feet. 20 feet, you can see it from the mountain, and it's like the flat mountain. So you can have lots of real estate. They're going to have a park and a walkway, and then yeah, you can just walk away, and then you see the beach, and I'm sure they'll have a way to walk down the hill to access the beach. But yeah, man, I'm happy about it. I don't know if I'll hold it that long, but I wanted to make a move for this year, so I'm happy that that move is made. But yeah, the story about buying is island in Bahamas and Hawaii appreciation over time. Yeah, I heard Bahamas is super expensive. Hawaii, I mean, I didn't even look into Hawaii, but I'm sure. I mean, that's where Robert Kiyosaki is from, right? That's where his rich dad is from. This guy already bought the entire country, right? The entire island. There's no way I can get in time there. But that's the thing. That's where it's a good idea to look at other place that have that potential, right? If you miss Bahamas because you were too young or something, well, now you may not be that young anymore. And maybe with cryptocurrencies, you can get the down payment for it, right? So, yeah, look into it. Great point, Peter Investor. Yeah, Bahamas. I heard it's super, super expensive because it's a very small island. A lot of people there visiting, lots of tourists. Anything you want to buy there is expensive. So I heard it's very, very expensive. Speak English, right? English speaking countries. That's the other thing. That's the value in the Cayman Island. Most places they don't speak English, right? Most places underdeveloped. They're not English. And when I say underdeveloped, it just means that the land is empty. There's nothing in it, right? This one is English speaking, so I won't even have to learn Spanish because I was looking into a bunch of other areas and I had to learn Spanish, right? It would be easier to find to bring my kids to school there if I should I need to do that, right? So English is the global language. That's a value when you evaluate real estate and potential for growth and potential for higher demands. These are things that you can evaluate, and that's why Hawaii is blowing up, right? It's not Spanish, right? You can speak English and live comfortably there. Same thing in the Bahamas, right? So that's why I'm looking into Cape. I mean, I'm not even going to shout out to. I don't know if you're still here. I don't know if you're still here, man. Cash flow value and cash flow and Hunter. How about a video about the benefit of the Caymans? I mean, there is tons of video about that. Maybe one day, if I could find a guest to talk about that, I would love to make a stream about that. You know what? It's a good idea. I'll mark it on the list. Thank you for this idea. But yeah, man. I uh I don't know if you guys know this channel. It's called Real Vision, Real Vision, or Real. Let's see if I can find it for you guys. Real Vision or Real Finance Vision, but it's a channel that blow up in the last 2 years. Yeah, Real Finance Vision, I think. And the guy that founded this company, I mean, he's a millionaire. He was working on the finance in London, I believe. And turns out he's in the Caymans. He's in the Cayman Islands. And a lot of these guys that are making lots of money, they go on the Cayman or they go on Puerto Rico, and many of them have houses in both places. So I'm really eyeballing Puerto Rico. That could be my next location, but the houses there are expensive, man. We'll this is just my another that's I'm subscribed to it on my normal channel, but sorry if you don't see it subscribed, but I'm actually subscribed to them. But yeah, they provide great content with great guests. Real Vision Finance. So the guy that talks about it, what is his name? This guy here. Yeah, this guy here. He's not. He's in the Caymans, Caymans and Puerto Rico, and that's where he's running his entire company. Running his company from London, running his company in finance, and yeah, there is tax benefits there too. So that will be something to look for as my because man, it's not about making the money. It's not just about making the money, it's about keeping it. If you thinking about the process of keeping it as you making it or before you make it, it becomes much more easier to plan, to strategize, to limit the effects of it. So I actually did not choose the Cayman for taxes. I was barely looking for um, only looking basically for land close to the beach, and hopefully I could find. I found many that I was willing to buy that was not on a hill, but hopefully I was prioritizing hill. Turns out that this place had everything that I needed. On top of that, I got a tax benefit too for being there. So like it's and also I was looking into not just buying the land, but also building a house on it. And it's not easy to do in the Caribbean. It is not easy to do. It's not like you have to hire a company to do it. Do you trust that company? Do they have experience? Companies that do have experience, it can be very expensive. So I basically had all in one with the company I dealt with. They bought the land. I'm buying it straight from them. So it becomes at zero interest rate. And I have 5 years to pay it for 60K for 5 years. I mean, I could do it. I mean, like I said, I could do it this year, but I'm hoping to do it this year. And yeah, zero interest. And on top of that, after they can be the one I hired to build my house because that's what they do. That's what they do. So it becomes so much easier. And the reason why they make money like that is because hey, it's very hard for people to from the outside the country to organize everything, right? So they make a service that facilitate it. You pay the money, you design your house with the architects, stay home, and then you wait for your house to finish. So yeah, first step though is to buy the land and then get like I'll probably get a dual passport or something. Definitely in these days, definitely something that is valuable. So but yeah, I'm almost happy. I gotta wait until I finish paying it to be really happy. But for networking purpose, that's going to be great because I'm going to be in areas that's going to be with a lot of millionaires, right? If I go in Puerto Rico, I also know like a couple clubs there, millionaire clubs there that I can access, and that opens the door to more capital that you can use for projects, you can use to create companies, right? You have investors lining up. So, from that perspective, also, it is extremely valuable to have a land there in areas like that because you never know who you're going to land. In a small island like the Cayman Island, I could land up on this guy at any time. He could be on the same plane as me, heading towards the Caymans, right? So, all that, think about, guys. always thinking about strategy and how to increase your wealth and all that. But in a nutshell, we talk about passion today. We had a great discussion about passion. The intentional millionaire join in as well. If you're just joining in, tune in back later to see. And yes, guys, find ways to monetize your passion, but find ways to use your passion to fuel your business because business is hard. Business is not easy. 9 out of 10 business fails. 99 out of 100 startups fails. If you can find another source of energy to fuel you to keep you moving, before that's going to distinguish yourself from the competition, and that could be the difference between the success and failure. All right, and if you tune in your purpose on top of that, then you have enough to last for the marathon. You have enough energy to keep you moving forward. And business is not a sprint, guys. Business is not a sprint. Business is a marathon. And even if you're not made for business, you can still monetize your passion by either investing in someone else that is doing your passion for you, right? You can learn about what they do. You can invest in them through stocks. You can invest in them through cryptocurrencies, or you can invest in them in early startup companies. Early startup companies, they're begging for money, they're looking for money, seed capital. If you want to invest for equity, you're right in the game at the beginning. You're playing the venture capitalist game, right? If this project happens to be good because this person is fully working on their passion and make it a success because they're obsessed with it, they don't lose focus on it, right? They stick with it even when it's hard because they're operating under passion. These are qualities to look for as you look into to invest in other people. There's a very good correlation between personal development and investing. Great investors, they don't invest in projects, they invest in people. So they need to have a good sense of character of how to distinguish the gems, the good one from the bad ones, the one that is most likely to succeed. And in startups, it's a risky idea. You have to assume it's going to fail. So you have to invest on the person. So if someone that could be your way of investing and monetizing your passion. If you don't want to go in business, you can do it as an investor, stock, crypto, or private equity, or um, just crowdfunding. Right? Very easy to do. Crowdfunding. Find a project you do. Go on a launch pad of crowdfunders and search for project that you're passionate about. If you're vegan, you find a project about vegan products, you will know all about it and you can become a specialist on that sector, right? You develop a portfolio of vegan companies and you become a specialist. You can then mentor others. You can become a consultant to others. All that are ways to monetize your idea. So you don't have to necessarily be in business. You can be invest in a business, right? With that said, guys, thank you very much. We cover a lot, but tune in Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll have 1K by then. But if not, hopefully next week. I'm getting ready for some things and I have more work to do thanks to Peter Investor M. But I have a surprise for you. Tune in, my moderators. If you're here, tune in. And everyone else, tune in as well. I'll try to have as great of a show I can get. But with that said, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And we'll see you on the next one.